Happy Friday, everybody. I hope summer has returned where you are, wherever you are, that you're having beautiful weather. Sun is back in Seattle, and that's wonderful. Thank you, summer, for coming back. That week of virtual fall weather, I'm not a big fan in the middle of the summer. Maybe one day, maybe 2 days a week, no bueno. So anybody who follows me, subscribes to me here or on Instagram, you know that 7 years ago I tore up my left knee pretty bad. And prior to that, I rode my bike all the time, all over Ellensburg. I hardly drove, except to get groceries. And when I tore up my knee, I couldn't ride the bike, literally for years. It's only been the last year that I can ride it, and my knee is solid again, and it's no problem. And actually, it's been good for me. My leg strength is coming back to equalize with the other leg, and health is so much better. And I had the bike at Burning Man, which that's where this week's video thumbnail comes from. Put the picture here. Thank you, Asia. She took this picture on a disposable camera at the burn last year before the rain hit. And anyway, that's me on my bike at Burning Man. And the bike I had, it was a Worksman industrial bicycle, which I didn't even know what these were until I found it at a yard sale. Bought it for $20 because I needed a bike, and it looked burly. It looked like it could handle anything, which they can. They are amazing. And took it home, oiled everything up, got all working nice, and it worked great. Single speed, super burly bike that literally can carry 500 pounds. They're industrial bicycles. A little longer frame, heftier wheels and spokes. Really cool bikes, and just fell in love with this thing. It was unique, and I didn't care that it didn't have multiple speeds. It was so simple, a coaster brake type cruiser design, but just so comfortable and simple and burly. Really goes with the way I like things. So I love my bike, and it served me great. And after a burn last year, figured out how to hang it off the back of my truck, off my spare tire, and take it with me everywhere. It's been revolutionary this summer to have the bike to ride everywhere on errands, to get food, to go, to meetings, to deliver prints, you name it. I've been riding the bike. I would guess this summer it saved me at least, in the last couple months, $100 in fuel, where I would have driven previously. Seriously. Now, I've been storing it on my back tire when I'm not riding it, and it's all strapped on and cabled on with a locking cable. Never had a problem. But last Monday, this previous Monday, I was parked near the ship canal in Fremont, and I had ridden the bike on one errand. I knew I had some photoshopping to do in the rig. I was going to ride it back, on another errand that day. So rather than strap it to a truck, I cable locked it to a bike rack just 30 feet in front of me. And, I'm in a really nice neighborhood. It's along a bike path, but it's beautiful, on the Burt Gilman Trail, and pretty upscale area, actually. And I'm in the back of the rig doing my Photoshop for probably about an hour. And I button it up. I lock up the truck. I get out because it's time to go run that last errand. Step out there, and I'm like, my brain just stopped. I'm like, what? Wait. I know I locked it there. I look back through the truck. It's not on the back of the truck. I'm like, if any of you have ever had anything stolen like that, the feeling. It's like not computing. What I put my bike here, now it's gone. It's a horrible feeling. It is an absolutely, as it dawns on you, enraging and just so frustrating feeling, and you feel such loss and anger all at the same time. It sucks. Totally sucks. And in this year, in 2024, all three of us in my family, both my kids and I, have dealt with thievery. My bike just got stolen. My son's van was broken into early in the year, and they took all his valuable stuff, computer, his solar generator, everything of value in there. And then just Sunday night, my daughter's van, somebody tried real hard to break into it in the Bay Area. And thankfully they didn't succeed, but they fucked up her lock sets, and she's having to spend a lot of money to get that fixed. And it's just crazy, how if you're out there enough, it seems lately, at least on the West Coast, thievery or crime is going to touch you somehow, directly or indirectly. And it's very disheartening. When you're liveaboard, it's especially unnerving because these are our homes, We take the risk, obviously. I mean, I generally don't have to worry about the truck getting stolen. I have interlocks and things that would prevent that, but I sure don't want it broken into, And neither do my kids. Nobody who lives in their rig. That's one of the ultimate nightmares nobody wants to deal with. And it's really touched our family this year. It's made us all a little paranoid and a little edgy. Not happy about it, that's for sure. But in my case with the bike, I had the initial, of course, reactions to it. I talked to people who were in view of the bike in a business there, and ironically, the guy I talked to there said, "Oh yeah, I had a customer come in not long ago and said, I think that guy's stealing that bike." And at the point that he said this to me, I was still so distraught and floored by the whole thing, it didn't register. Now I would have said, I'm curious, I'm just curious. If you look right out your window, right there, and your customer has said that, why you wouldn't step out and at least say, "What's up, man?" Something. There's a guy with a bolt cutter working on a cable lock on a bike. I could talk about that whole mentality of not being willing to do anything. I understand people are fearful these days, but this was an adult male, maybe not as burly as I am, but I know thieves, and generally, if they're confronted in the act, they bolt. They're not going to hang around. All you have to do is say something. That was very frustrating. Actually, that was one of the most frustrating moments of the whole thing after the fact. But all that aside, we all know bike is stolen in any city. You'll never see it again, most likely. And I pretty quickly moved into, of course, I'm grieving the loss of it. It was something that I use all the time. It's an important part of my daily life now. Into the thought, okay, well, hopefully whoever stole it needs a bike, or whoever gets it will appreciate it as much as me. I paid $20 for it. Yeah, I put a lot of inner tubes into it. So I probably got like $100 into this bike, and it served me for 10 years. I can't complain, but it still was a loss. And yeah, that was hard to take. That was really hard to take. But I quickly moved into a place of, my God, everything could be so much worse, and I'm still so blessed. And what am I going to do now? So as I moved into the what am I going to do now, what am I going to do about it phase, I quickly did the math and realized, nope, this thing saves me plenty of money in gas. It's worth having a bike. It's way better for my health. And it just makes my life better all the way around. It's a fun thing. And I need one. So I go online, I look for a used Worksman industrial bike. Nope. People don't get rid of these. They just don't. They're too amazing. So I went online, and the company only sells direct to customers, primarily industrial clients. And I spec'd out the bike and put it on my emergency credit card. And first of the year, I should be able to pay that off, when I make my annual withdrawal from my retirement savings for the yearly budget. So had to pull that trigger. And I did so without seeing, or I couldn't find on their website how long it's going to take to get the bike, because these are custom built. And so I called customer service because I couldn't find it on the website. And customer service comes on. I get a really friendly guy named Wayne. And I told him, what happened, that a Worksman is the only bike that's going to work for me. It fits. Incidentally, it's the only frame long enough to fit on my spare tire, that giant spare tire I measured. It's this extended industrial bike wheelbase. And so it's all that'll work for me. And I told him what I do, and I told him how important it is, and how it was stolen right in front of my nose. And he was very sympathetic, and he told me a story about how when he was 12, his brand new bike was stolen from him right in front of him. One guy held on to him while the other rode away on his bike. Horrible. And so we had this moment of commiserating, and he said, you know, you're not going to wait 60 days. I'm going to expedite this bike for you. We're absolutely going to get it done. You need your bike. I'm going to get it to you as soon as I can. I'm like, wow, the karma and the blessing of the work I do is just phenomenal. And the other thing I want to say is, my bike, as burly as it is, it was getting really rickety. I was about to have to spend a couple $100 in bearings and parts and everything to get it back up to being solid. Well, now I'm going to have a brand new one that'll probably never have to do anything but grease it for the rest of my life, because these things are amazing. Anyway, thank you, Wayne, for expediting my bike. I'm going to end up with a better situation. You know, yeah, I wish I hadn't had to spend the money. A couple days after this happened, and my sister learned about it, without me saying a word, she gave me $300, which paid for literally half the bike. And I just feel so blessed. Yeah, it sucks. I don't have a bike right now. I'm definitely feeling that. But I got 2 feet. I can walk, as long as time isn't an issue. And yeah, so that's what's happened this week. I have such mixed feelings. I can't hate people that steal. I mean, what they're doing is wrong. It's terrible karma. But I'm also around people who are so destitute and out of their minds with addiction that there's worse things they could do to make money. They could be mugging people. They could be assaulting people, you know. I don't know. I guess since I have a foot in both worlds, you know, it's just hard for me to stay deeply angry. Though I'll tell you, and I mentioned this in my Instagram story, I'll keep my eyes open for that bike. I've never seen another one in the wild where I have been. And I know my old one in particular, there's some marks and some things on that frame that you could paint it, and I can still identify that bike. And my God, if I see that bike, I'm taking it back. So if you've got that bike, you better keep it the hell off the streets. You better not be enjoying it where I'm going to see it, because I would hold on to it and call the cops straight up and wait. And I don't know what I do. I don't have room for 2 bikes, but I would give it to someone who could really use it. I'd have a way of finding out. Anyway, just wanted to talk about that. And I did research locks. I've got the burliest locking chain. It's called a Mastiff or something. Weighs 12 pounds. This bike locking chain that you need an angle grinder to cut. That should take care of things. Anyway, that's what happened this week. Outside of doing tons of family portraits at shelters, which was fantastic last weekend, I have more coming next week, and I'm thrilled with that. And I just wanted to say, yeah, crime sucks. We all experience it to one degree or another. Stay sharp, be smart, as smart as you can, and don't get too horribly attached to material things. Keep it in perspective. You know, I was sentimental about that bike. It's been to Burning Man twice. But it is still just a thing. It's not my health. It's not my home. And I'm very blessed. And yeah, we all feel what we feel when we get robbed. But the reality is, if you have your health, if your family's safe, that's what matters. Lastly, I'd just like to say thank you to all my followers who contacted me and expressed their sympathy and their encouragement, and even offered to help in some cases. I'm not going to ask you to help specifically. I can't bring myself to do that. Yes, this is a hardship, but I had an emergency credit card I could use. Yeah, I'd love to be paying it off right now, but I can't. So if you did want to help, you'd have to just do that of your own accord, because I am not the type to ask for it. So anyway, that's that. Wishing you all a great weekend, and thank you again for following. Thank you again for being with me and all your encouragement. It's greatly appreciated. Have a great weekend.